Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be making a baby card. My neighbour's son and his girlfriend had a little boy just before Christmas and I have been yet to make them a card. So I thought I'd do that today and share with you what I was doing. I've designed this completely in Cricut Design Space and everything that is used is from there. So if you've got a subscription, you'll be able to make this. I will pop it in my projects as well, so you'll be able to find that if you go to my profile. So this is the card that we're going to be making today, and I'm using a couple of different techniques today for this card. Where it says it's a boy and the name Carter, this is actually done using the foil transfer tool kit, and that, if you've seen it, is the blue housing here. So if you haven't got a foil transfer kit, it doesn't matter, you will be able to change this so that it's done with a pen drawing instead, and you'll be able to use a pen ink lampe instead of the foil transfer. All you're going to need to make a project like this is just some cardstock and maybe a pre-cut card like I've got, or you can use just a piece of card and cut it up into the shape of the card that you want it to be. So this is a pre-cut card, but you don't have to use that if you don't want to. So there's lots of options with this card, so let's jump straight into how to do it. This is the design that I've just come up with, and everything that's on the screen now is from Cricut Access. If you haven't got a subscription, I would recommend that you try out the free 30 days that you can get when you go onto Cricut Design Space. It's well worth giving it a go, and if you do decide to go ahead with it, I would go for the yearly subscription because it does work out a little bit cheaper. And don't forget that you get 10% off on any purchases on Cricut.com as well, so I think that is worth it too. So this is the design I'm looking at, and I've made this all up out of pieces that I found in here. And did you know that if you've got a image here or some writing or something that you're using in your project, when it comes onto the layers panel on the right hand side, if you click on the piece that you're looking at and then you double click, you can go down to the bottom of this menu to image info, and it will give you the image number, the name of it, and what function it's going to be performing. So this is congratulations, it's a drawing file, and that is the image number there in Cricut Access. And then also, if you click down onto this one with the image sets, it'll bring up all the other related images that are from this design. So that's just a little trick there that I wanted to share with you. So to do this design, all I did was got this little onesie, popped a 3mm offset around it using the offset tool up here. So I chose to have the rounded offset, and I made this 0.3 centimeters, which is 3mm. And then I got this file, which is called, let's have a look, file is called It's a Boy, and that is the image number there. I will put all the image numbers down in the description box down below for you. Then I've got myself this little swallowtail shape, and that is from the shapes menu, but it is in the subscribed shapes menu here. So if you haven't got a subscription but you want to do something similar, you could always use one of these free shapes here. I would go for one of the squares. I'd just make it long, and then I would put a triangle at the bottom and I would slice it out, and I can show you how to do that in a moment if you'd like. And then for the wording here and this wording here, I have made that into a foil. So if I just click on that there, you can see that I'm going to be doing a bold foil, and the font that I've chosen to use is Wednesday Stencil. This again is a Cricut Access font. If you go onto your fonts at the top, you can type in stencil in the box here, and all of the different stencil fonts will come up. So I've made myself a little insert to go inside the card as well. Today I'm going to be using one of my pre-cut cards again. So I'm going to actually make the onesie to fit on here rather than making an overlay to go over the whole thing, because I quite like the textured finish of this. So I'm just going to measure it up now and make sure I get everything right. This is just under 15 centimeters across, and I'm thinking it's square, so yeah, maybe very, very slightly smaller on the height there. So I'm just going to go back onto Cricut Design Space and resize. So let me move that one out of the way. And then this is the piece I'm looking at. When I do this, I am going to hide this back square because I don't want that to cut as well. So what I'm going to do first is just go up to the top here, and I'm going to change my sizing to 14.8 centimeters, and that is going to come out square because I haven't changed the little padlock here, so that's perfect. So this one is nicely sized up ready, so I will hide the background template square, and that is what I'm going to cut and do the foiling on. And then this is the insert for inside the card. So I'm just going to go back to my card here, and then I'm going to measure across again, and I think I'm just going to take a centimetre off it. So if I make it 13 centimetres square, so let's just click back on there, change my width to 13, there you go, and that will be perfect for that to go inside there. And I'm just going to actually tape it inside here. I'm not going to have it so that it's opening. I'm going to just tape it down inside there with some double-sided tape when I come to that point. This is what I'm going to be using for my design here. So I've got my foil tip and I've got my bold tip in there. If you've never seen the foil tip before, it comes like this, and you get 3 of these tips, and they are different thicknesses on the end, and this one is the bold. As you can see, it's got 3 little silver lines on the tip. The 3 little silver lines mean that it is the bold one. So I'm just going to pop it in. It's super simple to pop in, so you literally just pop it in there and it just holds it in magnetically. And if you want to take it out again, you just press the plunger in and pull, and then you can swap them over. You get a fine one and a medium one in the pack. Then I'm going to be using the coloured foil, and originally in my design you will have seen before I chose silver as the foil colour, but I didn't realise I'd got this blue one. So I think I'm going to use this pale blue card here for the strip across the side and the main body of the onesie, and then I'm going to use the blue foil out of this pack to do the foiling on there. And then I've got a piece of the darker blue card which I'm going to use for the outer edges of the onesie, just to give it a little bit of a contrast. And I've actually got a scrap piece here that I'm going to see if it's big enough, so I'm hopefully going to save this whole piece of card and just use a scrap for that. So let's get this onto the mat and see what it wants us to do first. So before we can start to cut these out and use the foiling tool, we need to just make sure that everything is arranged properly. So if we just go through to make it, I've got a feeling that the foil wording is all going to be separate, so we need to make sure that we group it together and attach it properly. So as you can see, it isn't going to do what we want it to do. So it's got the wording separate, and then it's got our white sheet with the drawer on it, and then this is what we want the It's a Boy to be on, and this is what we want the name Carter to be on. So we need to do a bit of jiggery pokery with this. So what I'm going to do first of all is just click on this one, and I'm going to ungroup, and then I'm going to move my offset just out of the way, and you can see now that this is all separate, but we want to ungroup this onesie even further. So just make sure it's selected, and you can see they're both highlighted grey on the layers panel. If we ungroup that now, this onesie part is separate to the neck, and that's how we want it to be because we want it to cut on 2 separate colours. So if I just pop that over there for a second. So now I'm going to move my It's a Boy back to where I want it to be. I might actually make that a tiny bit smaller, and purely because it's quite close to the top of that onesie. So let's do that. Let's select everything and just align that. Let's centre it and see what it looks like. Okay, that's perfect. So now what we want to do is just drag over both of those items, and then we're going to come down to the bottom to attach. Okay, so that is together now, and then we're going to do the same with this and just drag over the 2 items and then just hit attach again. So now when we go through to make it, what I'm expecting to see is these 2 items on one mat together, That might be a different colour, so they'll be on separate mats. Let's make it the same colour. There we go. Now they're both the same colour, so they'll come out on the same mat. This one will be on a separate mat because it's a different colour. And then this and this will be on a mat together, but we don't want them to cut together because this is going to be a different material. So for now I'm just going to hide that one and we're going to concentrate on the onesie. So let's go to make it again. Right, so there is our white offset layer. There is our foiled pieces, which is exactly how we thought they were going to be. And then there's the neck and the sleeves of the onesie. So if we go to continue, I'm actually going to use a silver glitter for this layer. So let's go to glitter cardstock. That's ready to go now. So I'm just going to get my mat ready. I'm going to do the cutting, and then when I get to this one, I will come to you and show you what I'm going to do with the foiling. I'm just going to use this light grip mat today. It does look like it has seen better days, so I might have to clean this one soon. If you haven't seen the video that I did about cleaning your mats, I'll link that above now and down below in the description for you. I'm going to use the opposite side of my mat today purely because it's the stickiest part, so we're going to have to move the design over. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Right, so I've got my brayer. I'm going to give it a good press down. I've already selected the glitter cardstock setting on Cricut Design Space, and if I just go back into there now, I've got this mat already selected because there is a white background here, so I know that's the one that we're working on. If I go to edit there, and I can literally click on the onesie and just move it around the mat, and I need to keep it over to this right side so that it's going to cut in the right spot. Just click on continue, and then I'll just pop this into Cricut and cut it out. It won't take very long because it's quite a basic, simple cut. Alright, so let's hop into Cricut Design Space again and just go through what it says on the screen now. So of course it knows that we've done mats 1 and 3 because it's got this little tick next to it, and then we've got mat 2 left. So let's get our piece of card on the mat first of all, and I'm going to just pop it in that top corner, and then I'm going to use my brayer to give it a really good braid down, especially up here because this corner has been used a lot and it's not quite as sticky, but because we're going to be using some tape to hold down the foil, I think that will help. So I've got my foil packaging here. Let's open this up. So in the foil packaging you get some sheets of tape, which are these here, and these are reusable, so don't worry too much about those, but you get loads of it. Okay, and then we've got our sheets of foil. This is the piece that goes face down, so let's just flip it over. So in this pack I've got purple, green, and there is the blue that I want, so let's just take that out. If I just go back to Cricut Design Space now, It's a Boy isn't going to fit on this one sheet on its own, so what I might have to do is click on done. I'm going to cancel the cut because what I'm going to do is go into there, and I want to hide the It's a Boy for now. I'm going to click on continue, and then it's still highlighted on this one piece, so I'm going to click on poster board as my setting, and now it's showing me what I need to do first. So it's telling me I need to load the tools and materials. So there is no tool required in clamp A. Clamp A is the one where you'd put a pen or whatever. And then in clamp B, we are going to need the foil transfer tool, bold tip, the one with the 3 lines that I showed you earlier. And we need to make sure that our foil is taped down over our cardstock. So that's what we're going to do now. So let's just get this in position. I'm just going to tape it down. What you'll want to do is make sure that your foil is pulled quite taut. Okay, so that's nicely held down on there with the tape. You can see I've got a little wrinkle there, but I don't think that will matter too much. You'll note that I've got it colour facing up because that is where the colour comes off underneath. So that's what you need to make sure of. Let's go over to the machine now and we will start doing the foiling. First thing we need to do then when we're setting up the machine to do the foiling is move the little star wheels out of the way. So let's just push them across to the other side of the bar. Then we need to take the fine point blade out of clamp B. Just checking my blade there to see if there was anything on it. Then I've got my foil tool, so I'm just going to pop that into clamp B. Close that up. There we go. Then I'm going to insert my mat. And then just hit the go button. Alright, so you can see the foiling is finished, and on the screen now it's telling us what we need to do next. So it says remove the used silver foil, load the fine point blade into clamp B and then press go again. The most important thing for this step is not to unload the mat so that your Cricut knows where it's going to be cutting. So let's just peel back the tape. That is peeled back, and then that is still on there. Now we've taken off the foil, what we need to do is just take out the foil tip, pop in the fine point blade just to replace it, and then we can cut the little dovetail to go around the name. There is the foiled piece for the edge with the little dovetail cut out. So let's get this off the mat now. I'm just going to actually peel it back carefully and leave the piece of card attached so that we can do the next piece. Just turn that back over. That looks really nice. I'm quite pleased with how that's turned out. The foiling can be a little bit sporadic, I guess you could say. You can see it's missed a couple of pieces there, but it's still quite nice. And I think it gives it quite a nice finish. So now I need to do exactly the same process but with the onesie part. So I'll do that and then come back once it's done. So this is the piece of foil that I've taken off that I've used for both of the pieces of my design. So I managed to get it onto one piece of foil, but I've also got quite a bit at the bottom here and maybe a little bit at the top that I can probably save and reuse. So what I'm going to do first of all is just pop my mat to one side. Then I'm going to grab the backing paper that came with this piece of foil, and I'm just going to take off these pieces of tape. Okay, that's my first step, and I'm just going to pop them back onto here so that I can reuse them. Again, if you have got foil and you're doing this, you can actually use masking tape as well. And I've had great success in the past with masking tape rather than the Cricut tape, because sometimes with some finishes of cardstock it can be slightly too sticky and it will pull off the surface of your cardstock. But with this curl finish card it's okay. I've not had any problems with it. I don't think I'm going to get this back on in exactly the same way that it came off, but it doesn't matter too much. It's the thought that counts. So for this piece I'm just going to use this pale blue card. I am going to pop it in the opposite corner again. So let's just pop that up there. And I'm going to use a silver gel pen for this. It's not a Cricut pen. I'm going to use one of my zebra pens that I got on Amazon, and they're brilliant because they just fit straight into clamp A without any sort of adapter being required. So that is great. Here's all my pens that I use in and around my Cricut. So these are the zebra pens. So this is the pen I'm going to be using. It's a zebra pen. It's a gel pen and it fits perfectly into clamp A without any bother. So let's get this in the machine. I'm going to pop this into clamp A, it's going to do the draw and then it's going to cut out, and then I'll come back to you once that's done and we're ready to assemble everything together. It would appear that my Cricut has had a bit of a moment when cutting this and it hasn't finished cutting properly. So I'm going to just cut that off by hand with my metal ruler and my craft knife. Alright, so that is ready now, and here is my card then. So let's get all this set up. What I'm going to do first of all is assemble my onesie. So let's pop this onto here. It's a good idea just to refer to your actual design when you are doing this. So for this I'm going to use some tacky glue. Pop this down. I don't want to use too much, but enough so that it's going to stick. Alright, so just hold that down for a couple of seconds, and then I'm going to use my precision glue bottle here just to stick these on. I feel as though the end on the Hobbycraft bottle of glue is just a little bit too thick for something intricate like this. Okay, so I'm just going to lift up my desk here and pop that under there and carry on working. It's under here now and that will dry nicely in a few minutes. So this is the glue that I've just used. It's just Hobbycraft's tacky glue, and this is the precision bottle with the needle tip, which I find so good for all projects. So let's bring back the card, and we're just going to pop this piece onto here. I'm going to use some double-sided tape for this part, so let's just turn that round. This is just cheap double-sided tape. Just going to put a piece here. Okay, bring back our card. Just pop that on. I'm leaving a very slight gap between the fold and my piece of cardstock, and that is done on purpose. I'm just going to carefully press it down. I don't want to rub it because of the foil on there. You don't want to rub any of that off. And then I'm going to flip that over and pop the little insert inside. That's just going to go in there like that, and we're just going to tape that down as well, I think. Make sure we've got our card the right way around, and just pop the insert inside, press it around the edges. There we go. Perfect. Let's see if this is done. Okay, so that's dried nicely under there. It looks really cute. So now we can pop that on. We could either just stick it straight down onto here, or we could use some foam pads to give it a little bit of a 3D look. I think I like it flat, so I'm going to just tape it on flat with some more of my double-sided tape. I'm just going to put one little bit in the middle there as well. So that's it, the finished card is done and the insert looks fab as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, I'd love to see you again for the next ones. Don't forget to subscribe. If you've learned something new and you have enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you would hit the like button as well, because it really helps the channel out. And all that's left to be said now is have a great week. Take care of yourselves and I'll see you soon. Bye.